very careful with rap, because rap is a whole entity within itself. You know, there's a lot of cursing sometimes. They use a certain word that I will never say, and they say it in the song.
That's Felix's favorite word. He just told me.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
He loves it. That was my first comment. Okay,
but listen, it's known that black people call themselves N all the time, and nobody gets insulted. They only get insulted if somebody from the outside calls them that.
Well, it's no different than Italians calling each other
wops,
greaseballs, wops, etc., or Jews calling each other kikes. But that's the thing from the past.
Yeah,
they don't really do that anymore now.
But so I mean, I really don't see the big deal about that. It's a word. A word cannot hurt you.
Yeah, but
Listen to me. The thing about rap is it's changed throughout the years. When I grew up as a teen, when rap was first coming out, it was different. It was music. Now they tell a story. It's like country music. Country music tells a story, but you can relate to it. It's something that you can listen to. Rap, you really have to be, you really have to be a rapper or be into rap to really, truly like it, and you have to listen to it very carefully.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, that song was actually, if you listen to it, had a lot of meaning. It was about guys trying to grow up in the neighborhood and and improve themselves and stuff like that. And Mo Bay.
It's a type of song that you wouldn't want to play on your show. You have a variety of listeners. You have different, like last week, all right, the thing with Chad and the other guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Naj.
People like that don't want to hear that kind of song.
Well, that's true. Well, Naj would, but Chad wouldn't.
I used to tell my students, first of all, I used to give them the whole derivation of that word. It started out down in the South because Southerners used to have trouble saying the word Negro. They would call them niggers. And then Nigra became nigger.
You just said it. He said it. He said the N-word.
Well, because this is a teaching moment.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much. And what happens is that if you look in the dictionary, to be a niggardly person is to be lazy and slovenly, And I used to tell my students, I would say, listen, imagine you're sitting around your dining room table having supper. And your mother is in the kitchen doing whatever she's doing, and your father is sitting in his kingly chair at the head of the table. And he yells into the kitchen, "Yo, bitch, get me my dinner," or something along those lines. I said if I said that to my wife, she'd smack my face. I said because I was trying to show them that the language they use shows a lack of respect for basically the female, of the race, number one. And number two, when they call each other what they call each other, they mean it like, yo, homie. Back in the 80s, they would use the word homie or whatever. But the thing is, it has very varying connotations, and most of them are negative. And like you say, you don't know who's listening to the music. Because I remember when I used to have the kids bring in a favorite song and explain what the words mean. What's the message? Because we were doing poetry and music. And I would play one or two of my songs. Usually my Phil Oakes anti-war, music, or Simon and Garfunkel. And then they would play the music, and I said, but it's got to be music that you're not ashamed to play for your parents. because I don't want somebody leaving the room and talking about it, and all of a sudden the assistant principal or the principal finds out that we listened to such and such a song and there were certain words in there. In fact, when I even took my licensing exam for English, one of my favorite authors in college was James Baldwin, who eventually became Amiru Baraka. And I used that as an example when I went for my interview. And one of the interviewers said, but doesn't that have... It's funny I'm saying this now, but then I was a college student. But doesn't that word have 4-letter words in it and everything? And I told the interviewer to lighten up because that's the language of the world. You can't shelter your children your whole life, okay? But I guess when you're standing in front of the classroom, it becomes another thing. You have to really be careful. But then I can bring this around to politics and say our presumptive Republican nominee doesn't watch what he says when he gives a speech.
No.
So,
But anyway, let's go play one more song. Why not?
No, don't play a song.
No more song.
We're on a groove here. Come on, we're on a groove.
It's up to Lisa. She breaks the tie.
Oh, leave it up to me. The pressure's on, huh?
Yep.
I don't know. I take the fifth.
Okay,
well,
we'll do it
before
later.
you answer that question,
we'll play the song later.
Actually, can I just say one thing? Can I plug something tonight?
Can you what?
Plug? Yes.
What's plug?
Can I
Plug.
plug something?
Oh, plug. P-L-U. Okay.
Okay. I have a friend, a very, very good friend that I grew up with pretty much my whole life. And
wait a second. This friend is still alive, right?
Yes, he's still alive.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. So I don't think I've had many deaths this year. We're good right now.
Okay, that's good.
No, he actually on June 7th, which is this coming Tuesday, he will be on the Food Channel, not the Food Network, but the Food Channel, and his show is going to be called The Big Bad Barbecue Brawl. And
I like it already.
Everybody will watch it.
Oh, he's competing on it?
Do you know what time?
10 o'clock.
And
it'll be on every Tuesday. I believe, yes, every Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
In the morning or at night?
It's a Tuesday night.
Okay.
Starting this Tuesday, June 7th.
Is it a competition?
And he was on last year, and he did very well.
Is it a competition?
It's a competition. He goes state to state. He has a food truck, and he goes state to state, and he competes with different people. And his food is excellent. I mean, he's really good. And right now, every Friday, he's in Hoboken on Pier 13 from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m.
And what kind of food does he have?
Barbecue.
Barbecue. Like
okay.
Brisket, I've ribs. He makes all kinds of creations. He's very, very good.
All right. We wish him luck again in the competition. And that's 10 p.m. on the Food Channel every Tuesday. And the name of the show again, Elisa, is?
The Big Bad Barbecue Brawl.
All right.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I've seen these shows. I don't know if this one in particular. A lot of times you get all these people from down south, really big fat guys with beards.
Yes, a lot of them are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Well, when Joshua and Brittany went to San Antonio, Josh said I couldn't wait to get to eat the barbecue, but they went down during Cinco de Mayo. All they had was Spanish food. That's all the places were serving.
Well, it's funny that you say the guy's these big, huge guys with beards, because Shannon's brother does it with him, and he's ginormous. He always was a big kid when we grew up, and he got, bigger and heavier, and he's got like 3 jobs as well as working with his brother. And one of his jobs, I don't know if he still does it, but he was a bouncer in a lot of clubs. So, it's like night and day, these two. They look alike, but frame and body wise, Shannon's more like built, and Richie is more like the stocky, guy.
It's
they're down to earth guys, literally down to earth guys.
It's like Felix and I. I add comic relief to the show, and Felix is the brains of the show.
We're in trouble. God, are we in trouble?
And I have another friend, Brett.
Wait, you're only allowed to plug one friend at a time here.
No, I have to plug another one because it starts tonight. It's on 10 o'clock, The Animal Planet. It's the show Tanked, where they make these elaborate fish tanks. They're unbelievable what these guys do.
I've seen some of them, yeah.
He's just incredible. Always was creative when we were growing up, too. And his show premieres tonight.
What's it called? Tanked?
Tanked.
Because I've seen them
on the Animal Planet.
I've seen it where these guys go all over the world and they build all these really funky, tremendous, tanks. I don't know, is that the same show or not?
Well, is it Army tanks,
yes,
or is it tanks for the memory?
Fish.
No,
I said
fish tanks.
Fish.
You didn't hear what I said.
They'll take anything.
Is it tanks for the memory?
Huh?
No, went over your head.
Went over mine too.
I didn't hear what you said.
You're too young. It's okay.
What did you say? I'm not too young. I'm a half a century older.
I said, is it anything like Tanks for the Memory, the song that Bob Hope used to close his shows with?
Thanks for the memory.
Thanks for the memory, but thanks for the memory. Yeah, exactly.
So he's saying.
You see, that's
my
my poor attempt at teacher humor. Okay, or as my students used to say, tell us when to laugh.
Exactly. When do I need to laugh to get an A?
I used that in my grandfather's. Grandfather's eulogy years ago. Thanks for the memories, and I did line for line.
Well, at my son's wedding, the father of the bride gave a speech, and I gave a speech about Josh, and talking about how we arrive at certain places, in our life. And I was using Robert Frost's "The Road Not Taken." Two roads diverged in a wood, and I chose the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And I basically broke down Joshua's life into segments, how he wanted to do this, that, and the other thing. And then I said, however, and then I would say 2 roads diverged in a wood, and he chose the one less traveled by, and that had made all the difference, And I tell you, a couple of people came up to me at the end, and I hope they listen. They said they really enjoyed it. But when you think about it, how do we arrive at certain points in our lives? What is the driving force? What do we do? What decisions do we make that have us take this road instead of that road? And that's why the poem is so great, because it could fit almost anybody. I just love poetry. I love to teach poetry. Okay. I love teaching English. What can I tell you? I really did. And I miss it. I do miss it. I have to say that. But I have to tell you, Elisa, that you wrote a very nice thing about Scott. I didn't comment on it, but I'll tell you now, that it was really very nice.
Oh, yesterday you mean?
Oh, I don't know if it was yesterday or today. I checked it out today because I don't always go on to Facebook.
That's the look of a man who's forgotten the one thing his wife told him not to forget. And that's the look of a man who can see inside his fridge from his phone, so he never forgets. Thanks to the Samsung Family Hub refrigerator from Best Buy, where a blue shirt showed him
I don't know.